I'm officially done with dating right now. I deleted my apps, taken.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you something.
We don't care.
I am absolutely sick and tired of going on dates and people are interviewing me to see if I'm a good person. Like, oh, are you family oriented? No. I hate them all and I'm a whore.
Whoa.
So if you want to know why we're tired, and yes, that's tears and snot on my robe, and I don't even care. I'll tell you why we're fucking tired. I started talking to a guy a couple of weeks ago, just casually, and I never heard from him again, and he fucking blocked me. It's like, how can you fucking be so cruel? So you want to know what's wrong with us? Why we don't fucking trust anybody? That's what. That's absolutely why. I mean, who fucking does that?
First time.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to your favorite mommy on the internet. Today, guys, we have a video about women raging, crying, and all sorts of emotions because they cannot secure a man. So I hope you guys are bringing some boats or something, because you're just gonna get flooded by a cascade of tears. So Ampu is ready. He has his violin in hand. He's ready for the serenade. But now, guys, let's get started with this one right here.
I'm officially done with dating right now. I deleted my apps, taken a break, but I figured I would share some of my best, worst stories that I have. One weird one was I went on this date for like 7 hours with this guy because we could not stop talking. We were vibing so well. Called him a few days later and he was like, "Hey, so good to hear from you. I'm in a really loud bar. Let me call you right back." I never heard from him again. He never responded to any message or call I ever sent again. Like, I'm pretty sure he died, but I don't know his last name to find out. After my second date with someone, the guy texted me and asked me to rate our kiss from 1 to 10. And this guy love bombed me so hard. He was like, "You're my dream girl. How are you single? Like, I could marry you." Obviously, I felt for all of it. Do you think I ever heard from him again? Nope.
Now, something interesting to point out is that this guy did the simp move, right? Of, "Oh, I'm absolutely infatuated with you. How would you rate our kiss? Did you enjoy it?" You know, acting all cringe and all that. Women usually, when they receive this treatment, they will just ignore you and make a TikTok about how cringe you are. But this woman fell for it, meaning that the guy was attractive. So you can, if you are attractive, you can be the biggest simp, and they're still gonna be entertaining you. All right, because usually women, the approach they have to men being, you know, too pushy with it is distancing themselves 4 miles from that guy. But when they're attractive, apparently they fall for it. Interesting.
And one guy that I was dating for like a month asked me to give him a ride to the airport. And I was like, okay, sure. Found out he was flying to Ohio to meet another girl. They now have a baby together, so glad I could help.
That is just hilarious. Now, something she forgot to mention is that she slept with all those 3 guys. Of course, we all know that. They will never mention it, but of course they are sleeping around. These women, guys, if you think that they really are having 20 to 60 dates a year, probably more, but let's just lowball it. If you think that they're going on 60 dates a year and they are virgins all throughout, they're not interacting with any of these men in an S3-actual manner, you have to be crazy. Like, get yourself checked. It's not normal. Of course they are sleeping around. They're spending their youth from 20 to 35 sleeping around with all the men. And then when they have no pair bonding ability, no good partner selection capabilities, when they are run through and come with a lot of trauma, and they go on more dates with their therapist than with you, then they want a family. Then they want you to pick up the pieces. Not gonna happen.
That is not going to happen.
Also, guys, what kind of man, quiz, this is a hard question to answer. What kind of man gets a woman to drive him to the airport? Is it the average Joe, or is it a highly attractive Chad? Women, If you are an average guy and you tell a woman to drive you to the airport, she'll call you a dusty. She'll say, "Oh, so disgusting. You're a man. You don't have your own car. You don't have your own means of transportation. You cannot ask someone else. You have to ask me. This is not masculine behavior. This is disgusting. I'm gonna vomit all around the house." This is their average reaction to a man asking literally anything out of them. But again, guys, when it's a Chad, they will pick their car and drive 2 hours to get him and take him to the airport. No questions asked. Without expecting anything in return. You know? It's just the treatment that the average Chad gets for the mere fact that he exists with the face that he has. The whole thing is just astonishing, guys. This is why don't try to impress these women. They honestly don't deserve it. Act like the Chads, even if you are not one. You know, it's time to grizzle, gentlemen.
I am absolutely sick and tired of going on dates and people are interviewing me to see if I'm a good person. I don't want to be a good person anymore. I'm fucking bored.
Wait a minute. You were not asking whole applications to be sent to you before picking a man. So what's the problem with men interviewing you? I don't see the problem. Again, guys, don't settle. You deserve more kings. You have to require a validation process with a full application form sent to you so you can categorize these women and, you know, think about whether they deserve your time as kings.
Like, oh, are you family oriented? No. I hate them all and I'm a whore.
Oh, well, alright then. She said it, not me. But it's so crazy to go on the internet and call yourself a 304. It's like men care so much about your past and intimacy and all that, and you go on the internet and you say that you're a 304, that you basically sleep around. This is the equivalent of a guy going on the internet and bragging about the fact that he's broke. It's just so crazy. But now, guys, prepare the life vests, Ampu, grab the violin, and let's get started.
So if you want to know why we're tired, and yes, that's tears and snot on my robe, and I don't even care. I'll tell you why we're fucking tired. I started talking to a guy a couple of weeks ago, just casually, and we started talking more this week, the last few days, and he lives in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and I was gonna be going down there this weekend on my way to Little Rock to see a friend, and we made plans to go out, and so we're talking today, and he says, you know, I don't really want to wait till Friday to see you. And I said, well, just come up here today. You know, I was just being very casual about it. And he said, you mean it? And I said, yeah, like I mean it. And his parents live here. I live in Des Moines. And he says, I'm going to then. And I was super excited. We talked for just hours while he was getting his stuff together, and you know, he sent me a screenshot of his GPS. He was getting ready to leave, and I was like, well, send me another when you were halfway there, because I was going to make a TikTok about it. And we talked all the way, and he called me. It's 6 hours, and he called me and he said, well, I'm halfway there. And I was like, all right, will you send me the snapshot so I can do the TikTok? And he goes, yeah. And I never heard from him again.
All right, stop it right here before we get flooded with tears. Let me just mention that you cannot see it because of the way I have my, you know, TikTok on screen. But this woman has a full slave tattoo on her arm. Like, what is she, guys? I'm bad at ages. Is she 50 or 60? Not quite sure. She has a full hand tattoo sleeve, and she also apparently posts TikToks daily. Like, this guy is going to see her, and she's already, you know, editing a TikTok with the pictures and all that. It's, I don't know, guys. It's just so odd. You know, I'm thinking of my grandma, excuse me. And at this age, she was just taking care of chickens and knitting, you know. Picking apples from trees to make jam. Well, this woman is so modern, guys. On the dating apps, all covered in tattoos. We'll have an epidemic in a few years. A full generation of women in their 60s having just their body covered in tattoos, you know, with butterflies and whatever. No, they have 3 or 4 written on their behind, these 60-year-old grandmas, right? They'll have SLUT written on their chest between their saggy knockers when they get to 60. It's just so disturbing to think about. But enough about me pondering about that. Let's continue now.
And he fucking blocked me. And this is after, this has been going on for 2 days. Or 3 days. But all day today. Like, I went to the grocery store. I bought all this stuff to cook for him. And, I mean, I just don't get it. It's like, what the fuck? Why would you do that to somebody? Even if it's just fucking casual, even if you know, which was not the stuff that he was saying to me anyway, but it's like, how could you fucking be so cruel? So you want to know what's wrong with us while we don't fucking trust anybody? That's what. That's absolutely what. I mean, who fucking does that?
Women? Right? Women? No, I'm not excusing this guy. I think that's a horrible thing to do, regardless of your gender. If you're really not interested in these women, guys just don't have dating apps, right? It is my take. But I'm not gonna excuse her, right? I'm not excusing him, I'm not excusing her. She's probably done the same like a dozen times to men. If you've been on dating apps as a guy, I can bet whatever amount of money you want that women have done the same to you. Ignoring you, ghosting you after a while, going on a free meal to then just block you when you get home, right? I mean, both genders don't trust each other. It's mutual. You're not the victim here any more than men are the victim. So it's this game you play. And my question is, if you hate dating so much, just don't be part of it. It's what I don't get. If it's so horrible and it's so gruesome, don't be on dating apps, damn it. Oh, he done. But I'll be single then. I'll stay single. Well, I wish you'd thought about that earlier and not in your 50s or 60s, you know. If you really prefer to cry and weep and sob and go through all this, what you call trauma with dating, if you prefer that over being single, then why didn't you emphasize getting commitment when you were younger? When you were in your 20s and 30s and you were more attractive, had more time, had the mental sanity to go through this, right? Because here's the bottom line, guys. These women, they don't regret, you know, being single. They don't regret not having a family. They don't regret not having a partner. What they regret is that they can't have their cake and eat it too. That's what they regret. Like, if they could go back in time, they will still go for the bad boys. They will still go for the men who are unavailable and all that. They just regret that they cannot have both, right? So, can't really sympathize with that. But gentlemen, let's move on to an article now. And this is written by a man, and this is amazing. It fits perfectly with today's video, because this man talks about how dating feels. I absolutely hate how dating feels like a video game as a man. You know, from my personal experience, dealing with women feels like a video game, if you get me. But let's read. I get match from Hinge/Bumble, or I meet someone in person. I have to witty banter with her, build a level of comfort, and ask her out at a high point. If I ask her out too quickly, she won't respond. If too many days or weeks in person go by, she'll stop responding. The sweet spot to ask is around the 36-hour, or some weeks in person, of our first message. I have to logistically plan and pay for the date. I have to know the spot pretty well, for I can lead the way. If it's somewhere I'm not familiar with, my outcomes are a lot worse, I've noticed. I have to know the chessboard well. Every guy who has been on dating apps, I think, can 100% agree with everything mentioned and can relate to this in a great manner. I have to plan and usually pay for the second, third date too. I have to break the touch barrier. That burden is entirely on me. While we read, gentlemen, I want you to think about yesterday's Reddit story where a woman was full anxiety mode and trembling of fear because she had to ask a guy out on a coffee date, and after he said most definitely, these were his words, most definitely, she went on to have a panic attack because he didn't seem too enthusiastic about it, right? Meanwhile, take a look at what men are doing over here. That burden is entirely on me. I have to initiate the hugging, hand-holding, kissing, making out, and S3X with a window of time of a few dates. If I fail to do so, I get friend-zoned/rejected. I haven't been on dating apps, guys, but this is what I hear from literally every man. That if after a few messages you don't initiate this whole thing, they stop responding to you, these women, right? Which is interesting. They say that they want the traditional man, the courtship period. Meanwhile, if you text them more than a day without making a move, they just ignore you. Interesting. Do you relate with that, guys? I have to be good at reading her body language. Make sure it's okay to progress things further. Yes, a man who is successful with women, guys, he always knows how to, quote-unquote, read the room or read between the lines, you know? Because women, they're never clear about what they want. Right? It's always, you just have to know them. A good kiss on the second date puts me in a good position for the third date. I have to be an entertainer who is ultra confident, who cannot make one single mistake, or they get turned off. I cannot even say hello wrong. This is absolute truth. This guy is not making it up. Like, the amount of women I've seen on TikTok talking about their icks. Guys, it's like literally, oh, he had his shoelaces untied. What an ick. I don't know, he picked a latte over a cappuccino. Amazing ick, you know? This guy is not overplaying it. I have to get the airplane lifted off the ground before I run out of runway. That's a nice analogy. I have to keep things alive between dates by sending a photo of a good sunset I saw on a jog or something. If I text too much, it's needy. Not enough, it'll fizzle out. The rule of thumb is just a bit to keep the flame going without smothering it. I have to act like things naturally happen on its own. The first kiss while the sun was setting by that oak tree, yeah, that was planned. This is something really funny, guys. Let me pause it right here to say that women say that they like spontaneous men, but if you don't plan this whole thing, they're not going to be impressed. They want to have spontaneity, I mispronounced that, while you have everything planned. It's like a show, you know, it's like a theater. They have to believe it's true, meanwhile it's not, right? I was nervous walking there, afraid I'll somehow fumble the ball, but I'm glad I didn't. I've been through this date several times to get it right. The first time we're about to have S3X, I can't say, hey, for our third date, come over and let's make out and maybe have S3X. Oh, absolutely, guys. Absolutely. You never want to be absolutely clear with what you say, because then they look easy, right? Then they feel like a 3 or 4. You're calling them to have S3X, even though this is what they want. You have to say, hey, why don't you come around and see my Hot Wheels collection, or so whatever bullcrap that incites them to come over. They absolutely know what's going to happen, but you have to sugarcoat it. Instead, I have to say, do you like wine and board games? If so, red or white? Are you free right now for Trader Joe's wine and Uno LOL? Plausible deniability, or else I lose the level. Absolutely. This whole thing truly feels like playing the first few levels of a video game and is entirely exhausting and soul-crushing. I just wish I could meet a woman where I don't have to do this stuff, but I can't even get a date to see it if I'm not playing the game. Does it feel like that for you guys as well? I think that every single guy on this planet that has been on dating apps can agree with this. I wish I could just offer money to a woman to date me, so I don't have to be super confident entertainer who is already judged and should be grateful for a date or even a hello. I mean, guys, do you get now, if you didn't before, why so many men are tired of dating and they just prefer to have a street worker come over or go for the women who give S3X for free? Like, men are tired to play this game. They are tired to pay for 2, 3, sometimes more dates without receiving anything in return. And in most of these cases, these women just leave after the first few dates, right? Honestly, the women have always been harder, alright? But in the past, the courtship period was still more complex for men. The game for men was more high level. They had to understand women as well and do all these things. But first off, it was way, way, way more rewarding, the courtship period with women before. Second off, you knew the price. Like, in most of the cases, you knew that this woman is talking only to you. She's interested only on you. She doesn't have high body count. Nowadays, you don't know her body count. You don't know if she's interested in you. She may act like it, but maybe she just wants your resources, right? It's 20 times harder and it's 100 times less rewarding. Yeah, so in other words, it's crap, right? It's just crap. Dating is crap for men. And this is why, guys, all women we've covered, they go crying, oh, it's so hard, I'm such a victim. They have it easy. What they have to do is sit on their butts and use their, finger to point at the guy they like. That's what they have to do. They have all sorts of men, all shapes and sizes, all ages, with all different sorts of intentions. Some want to give them S3X, others want to give them commitment, others want to give them a marriage and 4 kids. They just have to literally sit there and pick. This is their whole game. Now, it takes some effort, I guess, some ability to distinguish between good and bad men. It takes some, I don't know, common sense to figure out what guys really want, because they all say they want commitment, but that's what chads do, to get between their legs. So you have to do that. There's just like some rookie level difficulty to women dating, but compared to men, it's like not even close. It's not the same universe. It's not the same league of difficulty, right? And this whole article, guys, is just this is one of the many reasons I personally don't date on these dating apps, and I still don't know why guys do it to this day. I mean, if you're not a Chad that gets what he wants on literally the first few hours, I honestly, guys, ask you, why are you dating? Why are you going through all of this to not get rewarded with anything in most of the cases, all right? It's just absolutely pathetic. And it's so disheartening for men, right? Then we have this question, guys, of why are men not interested in marriage anymore? Not taking into account all the divorce laws staggered against them. Why are men wanting to play us and use us for our bodies instead of committing in these long relationships and courtship periods? Well, I don't know. Have you checked what kind of game men are playing? Have you ever put yourself in the shoes of men for 5 minutes to realize that the juice is just not worth the squeeze? But guys, we'll leave the video right here. Leave me your experiences in dating, the bad ones and the good ones, even though they are non-existent, just the bad ones. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Ampu, thanks you as well. Like and subscribe.